Okay, so I have to say, if I wasn't talking about this subject, I wouldn't be here this afternoon, so thank you very much for coming. My name's Deirdre Ward, and I'm the head of people for Watford Community Housing. We are, funnily enough, a housing association based in Watford. We don't only look after Watford, but we're in Watford, Three Rivers, Dacorum, Hartsmere, etc., etc. And so not only am I not talking about a very exciting subject or sexy subject, I don't really work for a very exciting organisation, but I like it. Up here is our people strategy, and as you can see, and you'll see throughout my slides, I'm a bit of a magpie. I do pick up things from other people. You might recognise maybe an evolution of the engagement bridge with our people strategy. Don't know, maybe. And what we've said is we've got 5 pillars of HR, so with reward and recognition being one of them. We, at Watford, we went out to our managers last year. My director went out and did an HR survey. So no other department gets surveyed, but they decided it'd be a really good idea to survey what people thought of the HR department. So we went out and did that and said, what do we do well? What don't we do well? What would you like us to do better? And we got scored out of 5. And we scored 3 out of 5, which I didn't think was that bad. But we got scored in each one of our pillars of HR. And the area that we scored least in was reward and recognition. People just didn't trust us. And there was a huge disconnect between people's perception about what we did and the actual reality of what we did. So every 2 years, for part of our pay strategy and our pay policy, we say that we will go out and we'll benchmark our salaries against the external market. And we've continually done that since we started. My previous boss is here, and he was in charge of doing that for the years before I took over. But our employees didn't believe us. They didn't believe that they were being paid a fair pay for a fair day's work. They just didn't believe it. They also didn't believe our performance management, and they believed we have performance-related pay, and they didn't believe that our exec team didn't go out and change people's scores. People get higher scores, people get higher bonus payments, and they believed that our exec team went down and they altered everybody's individual scores, and that was very clear. So we got that back that was the difference between perception and reality. The other thing that people didn't think was they didn't believe our benefits package. We've got a fantastic benefits package, but most of the employees who've been working for us, and we've got some employees with 40 years service, because some of our employees transferred over from the council to us, they didn't believe that actually we had a decent benefits package. So we had a big disconnect between perception and reality. And we said, right, what we're going to do is this year we're going to do it slightly differently, and we're going to engage people. I will show why I'm slightly different later on. That will come to fruition. Previously, when we'd done benchmarking, it'd been done internally. So that involved us sitting down, talking to other housing associations, looking at the Impicon surveys, looking at online benchmarking surveys, and saying, okay, this is where our jobs are, this is where our pay strategy, and making sure that our pay bands aligned within it. And we said, right, we're going to do this slightly differently. We're going to go out and we're going to externally appoint a consultant to do it. And we appointed Campbell Kellen. We had 3 different companies that came in to talk to us about doing it. And Campbell Kellen resonated with us. We've got a staff gateway, so that's our staff consultation group. And they were involved at the very, very beginning. We involved them. So we're starting differently from the very beginning. We told them, look, we know you don't trust this about us. We know you don't get this, and we want to change this. And we told them we were going out to do benchmarking, and we told them we're going to use these external people from Campbell Kellen. Campbell Kellen came in and met with our staff gateway. We also provided them with data. And we took every single job description that we've got, and we sent it across to them. Now, we're not a large organisation. We're small but perfectly formed. We've got 188 employees. We've got 104 different roles. So we've got a lot of diversity. Because obviously, because we work in housing, because I'm sitting in this desk and I'm doing something, if you're sitting in that desk and you're doing something slightly different, I've got to have a different job description to you. So we've got 104 different job descriptions. And they were all evaluated. Again, what we wanted to show to our employees that we weren't just benchmarking against housing associations. Because again, I work in HR. I don't need to work in housing. I really don't. Our finance department don't need to work in housing. Our IT department don't need to work in housing. There's very few of our departments that actually need to work in housing because their jobs exist elsewhere. And because we work in our organisation's head offices in Watford, they don't actually need to work in Watford either. They could get on the train for 15 minutes and come into London and earn more money. And we had to say to our employees, we get that, we understand that. So we made sure, and Campbell Tickell went out and they looked at everything else. So yes, they looked at third sector jobs, they looked at housing Imbicon, which is the housing benchmarking people. They looked at them, but they also looked at Reed, Indeed, Michael Page, and looked at everything else as well. And we went and we told our employees that's what we were doing. And we're starting to build up the transparency. I have to say, I'm probably telling you everything you already do already. I'm not probably doing anything differently than you're already doing yourselves. The only difference is I'm having to stand up here and talk about it. We then did something, again, slightly differently to what we'd done before. As I said, we've got a staff gateway. Our staff gateway has gone in peaks and troughs. Sometimes they've been engaged, sometimes they haven't. And again, today we'll keep talking about engagement. We knew we'd made it with our staff gateway, the work we've been doing with them over the past 2 years, that it worked when they actually organised their own events. So they organised an afternoon tea in the middle of the summer last year, and they organised that themselves without any input from us in HR. Usually initiatives come from HR is going to do this. Well, no, they went out and did it. They organised a Christmas party this year themselves. We provided the credit card, but they went out and they organised it. So we knew we had their engagement. So Campbell Tickell, their consultant, came in and he spoke to Staff Gateway. And he spoke to them at the very, very beginning of this process. He told them what he was going to do. He then asked them a really, really hard question, was, but why do you work here? What do you like about working here? What do you not like about working here? What makes you want to come to work? And he asked that of the Staff Gateway people. And then the Staff Gateway people went back and they spoke to their teams. He also spoke to our EMT, our executive management team, that's our exec directors, and he had one-to-one conversations with each one of those directors. And he asked them the question, so why do you come to work? Why do you want to work here? What do you think we do well? What don't you think we do well? And then he asked the question of them, why do your staff come to work? What's important to them? And again, there was different answers coming back from them as well. Then we took the brave decision. We had some staff groups. We've tried this before, and it's always dangerous when you ask your staff what they think about you. And we pulled on our iron knickers, and we went out and we had some sessions. We had about 3 or 4 sessions with our staff groups, and they were allowed to come in at any point. They didn't need to stay for the whole session. They could just come in and say, it's rubbish, and walk back out again. Or they could just come in and say, I'm only here because you're 5 minutes from my house. And they could say that and go back in. But we took each one of their comments on board. We also then went to our board members. We have a board. We're a housing gateway, so we have our tenants, it's like a John Lewis version of housing associations. They vote on how we perform. But we have our board members, and we went out to ask our board as well. And we asked them, what do you think is important for people working at Watford Community Housing? And we spoke to everybody there as well. And it came back, and the information we got is, do you know what? This was meant to be music, and if Glenn had done my PowerPoint, there would have been music here at this point, and I'm not going to sing. But it is that moment from The Greatest Showman that we came back and we did all of our consultation, and we went, do you know what? This is us. This is it. I'm not ashamed. We're proud of who we are. We're never going to pay the highest salaries. We're never going to have the best benefits package. But do you know what? If you like it, stay. If you don't, leave. This is us. And this is kind of where we've got to at the moment. And I really think it's very much about this is what we want to be. And I think more organisations need to have that Greatest Showman moment and just sort of say, you know, we're not going to apologise for what we do. This is what we can do, and this is what we do, and this is what we do within the confines of what we've got to give to everybody. And we're going out to our employees, and what we're doing after we've gone back out and got the data is we're going back and we're telling about everybody what we've got. So we started at the top. So we got a report back from Campbell to Kell, and he told us where we were with our benchmarking data and where we were against everybody else in the housing market, and where we were against the local employers, and where we were against the wider coming into London, going a bit further north, and where we were against everybody else. And we wrote a paper, and we told that to board, and we said, well, this is what we'd like to do with the data, and this is what we'd like to do. Can you just trust us? Can you trust us as an HR department? Can you trust us as an organisation that we believe that this is us, we're proud of what we are, and we want to stand up and be counted? Our exec team, they bought into it, and they believe what we're talking about. Our staff gateway, well, they've got nothing's gone back to them that they didn't already know about, because they were involved with the consultation process all the way through. Because every time we found out data, we were very much saying, this is what we are being told, so this is not going to be a surprise to you. And we went back out and told them. And this week, I started to have the team meetings. I said back at the very beginning that I think the snazzy title of my presentation is How to Make Your Pay Process, was it called? Transparency Worthy or something like that. And I put a little byline as, or how to make it so that your colleagues don't complain. We've got one employee, and I'm sure you've all got her. I'll call her Susan. She's not called Susan. She's not called Susan. She isn't. I don't think we employ a Susan. Anyway, Susan always likes to comment. So she likes to give you her feedback. So when things go well, she's nowhere to be found. But when things don't go quite right, she'll let you know, I'm not complaining, I just thought you'd like to know. Or, when you did that, you made me feel like bleh. And my test of going through this was, can I get this process through this member of staff without her being able to complain? I've got her session tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. I'll let you know. I've done 4 sessions so far this week, and I've got one tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, and then I've got other ones the rest of the day, and I've got other ones on Friday. And so far, it's going all right. Because I'm sure it can all go wrong, but it's going all right at the moment. So we're feeding back, and we're being really, really honest to everybody about what we've found out. But we're not just making it about their salary. We're making sure that people understand our process. I'm standing up in every one of the sessions because actually I've sat in the exec team meetings when they've had moderation. And again, back to the beginning, we said that people believed that our exec team altered people's scores. I'm standing up and saying, I know last year when we got round to our April exec team moderations session, that they didn't actually, I think they changed one score, and that person's score went up because they didn't believe that the manager scored them right. I know at half-year reviews, they changed 2 scores, and that's because the manager hadn't had the conversation with their head of service before they submitted the scores. And I'm able to go up there, and I'm able to say, look, if you don't believe that this happened, you're calling me a liar. And I'm saying that to people. So you don't believe, you're saying that EMT moderate, I'm telling you they don't. So you're calling me a liar? Do you want to do that? Because I think I'm quite trustworthy. So we're making sure that people really understand the process. Again, it's transparent. It's not hard. People get awarded a salary, then they have a one-to-one every 6 weeks with the manager, have half-year reviews, we have end-of-year appraisals, we give a bonus, and it gets paid. And that's what we do currently, and that's where we are. We also found out that our employees didn't really know about our benefits that we have in the organisation. When our benchmarked, when our salaries and our pay and everything were benchmarked, we also looked at our benefits package, and it's been scored that we're in the upper quartile for our benefits package. What we offer is pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. Our holiday package is pretty good. We offer dependency leave. And again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a 12-month communications campaign, both internally and externally. So yes, you will see this on my LinkedIn feed going forward, about our benefits. Because again, this is us. We are proud of who we are. We're going to be going out and saying, yes, we offer dependency leave, but please remember, if you've got an elderly parent, we'll allow you to take dependency leave to go and look after your elderly parent, because dependency leave is not just for looking after your children, because we would view that your parents are dependent on you. We're not going to change our policy. We don't need to change our policy, or we don't need to change our benefits, because what we've got already is good enough. We believe in it. So we're very proud of it. And again, we've come and saying our employees are at the heart of what we do. Because again, as a housing association, our employees have interaction with our tenants all the time. And if they're not happy, our tenants don't get a good service. So we want to make sure that our employees are felt that they're acknowledged and their work is acknowledged. So we'll be going out and having conversations with everybody tomorrow for Valentine's Day, because we love them, are getting a copy of our benefits booklet. That's landing on everybody's desk tomorrow with a cheeky little lollipop, because like Glenn, we love our little desk drop. Everybody's going to get a copy of that. And then we're going to have communications campaigns for the next year, deep diving into a benefit. And that'll be 1 month that'll be done internally. The next month, the same benefit will be talked about externally. So we can attract people to come and work for us. Because actually, we're a pretty good place to work. We're a good place to work. We offer good benefits. We offer good career progression. And then we'll be starting to talk about career progression. So we've got career stories. Because we've got people who started with us in the call centre, and they're now working as managers. We put them through their ILM level 5. We put people through qualifications. And we're going to shout about that. Because, do you know what? Back to, we're not afraid, we're proud of who we are. This is us. And we're proud of who we are. So we're going to be talking and shouting from the rooftops about our benefits. We're also going to be talking about our rewards and our recognition. So again, it is important for people to say thank you. And yes, Glenn, you probably see little versions and little magpie versions of your own things there. So we have our grapevine, our intranet, which people can just put on an online comment. So you can just say thanks to so-and-so for doing, I don't know what I said. Okay. You've got somebody getting 7 points for always being helpful. Yay! And then somebody got 4 points for lending them the umbrella. Oh, isn't that nice? But they're saying thank you, and that's done online. But again, what we heard, and we learned from other people, we're not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of saying I mimic things from other people. We've got our own postcards. Unlike Glenn, we don't have fancy stuff, so we've got our box made out of an A4 box of paper, which has been covered up, and that's our behaviours postcard. And people can post physical postcards to say thank you to everybody. We've got our e-cards, which is on our Gateway Rewards platform, the RG platform, that people can give out. And if somebody gets, they can do an e-card to them. Our directors also have a pot of money that they can give out. So if a director thinks you've done a good job, they give you an e-card, and we'll give you money. So that's from £10 to £50, and that will land into your RG account there as well. We also have our annual awards, we have quarterly awards, and then we've got our Wheel of Fortune, which is a very cheap version. If anybody's seen Miss Guides' Wheel of Fortune, which is very expensive. This is £25 off Amazon. And actually, there should be another line in there, but we just took it off. That's just sticky tape. We took it off so we had sections. And we've actually had to put a bit of cardboard at the back so you get the clicker noise, because it didn't come with the clicker noise. So we had to put a bit of cardboard in a pin so you get that noise, just for the effect. Employees get entered every month into the prize draw. We're a bit more selective than other organisations are. We say if you've had a one-to-one conversation with your manager in the past 6 weeks and you've been scored that you're performing, you'll be entered into the draw. And again, you can get double bubble lunch. You can have Let's Relax. We have a masseur that comes into the office once a week. We'll give you a voucher to have a massage on us. You can get a duvet day, extra day's holiday, an early dart, get to go home early, or you get a surprise prize. Surprise prize is whatever I've managed to remember to buy that month. Yeah, well, exactly. It's what you find in the back of the sofa. Then we've got this group of reprobates down here in the corner. And if you think back to when we had the conversation with our staff in our sessions with Tam Tukel, and back previous to that when they did the first HR survey on us, what came back is people say, you don't acknowledge long service. We got rid of long service awards. We got rid of giving people an extra 5 days for 5-year service. We got rid of it because we didn't think it was right to be doing that. But people are saying, we want to be acknowledged. We've got people here 40 years. We've got people here 30 years. We want to be acknowledged. So what we did, and this is from this year's staff conference, that's everybody with over 10 years service. So everybody with over 10 years service was invited to come up onto the stage. They got a card, they got a little box of chocolates that said thank you on them, and inside the card saying thank you for your service. Now, we wanted to buy a gift for everybody, but I don't know if you've seen the budget of somebody in housing. We don't have very big budgets in HR, so I don't have a lot of money. So we had to make a choice. So we chose to acknowledge people with 10, 20 and 30 years service. And inside their card, they had a card that said, please come to the HR office. We've got a little cube. Please come to the HR cube on Monday for a surprise. And at that point, they got a gift. And the gifts ranged from a Fitbit, we had hampers, we had afternoon tea, and we gave people different things. Now, I thought we'd done really, really well. But remember, back to that voice, doing things so that Susan's not going to complain. Funnily enough, Susan complained. Because you've guessed it, Susan's got 12 years service. And 2 years ago, Susan didn't get a gift, did she? She didn't get that gift. So Susan came and gave an official complaint that she thought it was wrong and it wasn't transparent, that some people just got a card and some people got a gift. And I said to her, do you know what? It's what it is. We chose, in previous years we didn't do it, we are going to be doing it going forward, and this is it. And again, I'm back to my greatest showman, this is us. I'm not afraid, I'm not ashamed, this is what we're doing going forward, and I'm actually very proud of what we're doing. And she says, well, I want you to send an email out to everybody who was up on stage and tell them why they didn't get a gift. I went, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It was my decision to do it this way. I believe in what I'm doing. And it's back to, I believe that what I did was right. We've chosen to disagree on it, but anyway, it's going well. I said we'd be talking about it at the sessions. And when I've been talking about it in the sessions I've run up until now and said, this is what we did, people have gone, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, okay. You know, Susan wasn't happy, but, you know, you can't win every battle. Okay, we're going to transparency. So, as you can see, we don't give the highest salaries. But what we've got here, we've got our pay scale. And what Campbell Tickell came back and said was, actually, your pay scales for your job roles work. There's a bit of movement at the bottom, so you'll see A's and B's are moving. There's a bit of movement at the top, the F1s and F2s are moving, but just a little bit. And that's it. That's the only ones moving. We do have spot salaries above that, so there are people that get paid above that point, but not many. And we've said, and I have to say, the reason I'm standing here today is because in November, I had this information. And because my team won Engagement Team of the Year, yay, at the Engagement Excellence Awards, we won a session with Deborah Corey. And Deborah, I said to Deborah, how am I going to get this message out? Because previously, what we've done every time when we've done a benchmarking review is we've moved every band up by 1%, 2 or 3%. And we've gone this time, no, back to Greatest Showman. We're not afraid, we're not ashamed. This is it. We believe in it. I believe in our data. And we've gone out and we've said to our employees, your job can still move within that pay band, but we believe in our pay bands. So we're saying we've got transparency. The biggest thing that we have done is our performance-related bonus. And again, the percentages are for illustration purposes only, very much. And what happens currently is everybody gets their end-of-year review, and we work out what we can afford. We've got a pot of money, and then you get told what you're going to get paid in June for last year's performance bonus. And you don't know what you can do as an individual to get more. Nobody knows. We don't know whether it's going to be 3%, 2%, 1%. You don't know. You could be working your socks off and you don't know what you're going to get. So what we've come back to and what we're pushing out, and board have agreed this, is that we'll be saying in April, we'll be going out with this filled-in spreadsheet of what we'll be paying in June 2020. So if the organisation performs excelling, and we'll have KPIs, and everybody will know what those KPIs in April, we'll be telling everybody what they are going to be. We're going to be transparent about it. And you are an exceptional employee, and again, that's in our appraise, that's in our performance management system. That hasn't changed. You will get 8%, or whatever the percentage is. And it will be awarded 50-50 between consolidated bonus and an increase to your salary, and one-off bonus. And again, what we've changed here is previously anybody who was on a spot salary weren't eligible for an individual performance bonus. They are now. Can you tell them on a spot salary? Can you tell? Can you tell? So again, what we're saying is we're being transparent about it. Okay, takeaways. As I said before, I am a little bit different. So, we've got to look back. Oh, there you go. So, last year my team had fairy wings on their desk because we sprinkle a little bit of fairy dust everywhere we go in HR. They were so last year. This year we've upgraded to Wonder Woman. So, I thought I had to wear my Wonder Woman cape. What I would say is you need to talk to everybody. And again, you know, as a Scot and as me, I'll talk the hind legs off a donkey. But it is just talking to everybody, making sure that everybody understands what you're doing and why you're doing it. And again, back to the greatest showman, just be proud of what you're doing. You know, we're never going to pay the highest salaries. We're never going to do that. But you know what? I'm proud of what we're able to offer everybody. And again, for the Wonder Woman in you, just be you. That's me.